Mitch here, high five at 420. Excited to be with you today to bring you this message. I want to start with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so, what are you facing today that you need God's wisdom to get through? And so I want to give you a little story about some farmers in the South in the early 1900s that were facing a pretty big epidemic. And so there was a boll weevil beetle that was coming up from Mexico that was wreaking havoc amongst their cotton plants. And so they relied predominantly upon selling this cotton plant. And because this boll weevil was eating it, obviously it was cutting back on their crops and they weren't able to provide for their families. And then secondarily, they had another problem. This cotton plant also depleted the nutrients in the ground. And so there was this amazing God-fearing scientist back then by the name of George Washington Carver who saw this problem and wanted to intervene. He was an agricultural scientist. He went to school in Iowa, go Iowa. I'm from Iowa. And so he encouraged these farmers to plant other crops like peanuts and sweet potatoes. And so these farmers planted these products. And in particular, I want to talk about the peanut today. And so they planted these products and they were growing them. But the peanut was really only used for peanut butter back then. And so there wasn't a whole lot of use for it. And therefore, there wasn't a big opportunity to sell this product. And so although they had lots of peanuts to eat in their families, they weren't able to supply the money they needed by selling this product. And so peanuts were going rotten, they were going bad, they were just sitting in barns. And so George Washington Carver used to like to go out with the Lord 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he would walk with the Lord out in the woods and he would talk with him. And he said that's where God tells him his secrets. When everybody else is asleep, he said, I hear God best and learn my plans. And one of the verses that he stood upon, one of his favorite verses was this in Job. It says, but ask the animals and they will teach you. Or ask the birds of the air and they will tell you. Speak to the earth and it will teach you. Or let the fish of the sea tell you. Every one of these knows that the hand of the Lord has done this. The life of every creature and the breath of all people are in God's hands. See, George Washington Carver knew that God created everything and he made it good and for his purpose. And so one morning he was walking and he just simply asked God, why did you make the peanut? And so God answered him. God told him to take the peanut and divide it amongst its ingredients. And so break it apart into its oils and gums and sugars and starches and amino acids. So he went back to his laboratory and he did just that. And then God said to take those ingredients and combine them together in different ways under different pressures with other products and other ingredients as well to make new products. And so within 10 days, George Washington Carver created 300 new products in his science laboratory with peanuts. Everything from pancakes to mayonnaise, caramel, candy bars, medicines, oils, paints, shampoos, and on and on. God provided miraculously for those farmers. And so not only did they have a new crop that was replenishing the nutrients in their soil for generations to come, but also this peanut crop became a $200 million crop in just a few short years. And so God saved these farmers. He allowed them to provide for their families. He gave George Washington Carver the knowledge and the wisdom that he needed to help generations of farmers to thrive and survive and give us amazing products that we can use to this very day from the peanut. In another verse in Jeremiah, it says this, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and mighty things which you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. And so what are you facing today that you need God's wisdom for? I want to encourage you to spend some time alone with God today. And every day, as a matter of fact, get up early, study his word, ask him for direction and insight so that he might give you the wisdom for you to flourish in your life. He might just give you the wisdom that you can use to help thousands of others, just like he did to George Washington Carver. And so I will encourage you today to seek God for wisdom. And I also want to encourage you to have a joyous day seeking the Lord. God bless you all. Stay sober. And I love you. And I'm so thankful to serve with you all. God bless.